Very, very important topic that we're going to be talking about today. Of all of the sessions that you've gone to at this meeting or will go to, I don't think without question this is the most important. For a variety of reasons. I don't want to overstate the case, but all of the efforts that are being put into bringing breakthrough drugs to the market to try to improve the efficiency of R&D, to innovate, which was a major topic of Dan Burris's discussion yesterday at the plenary. All of that is leading to new drugs getting on the market, all of them bringing in high prices, and a healthcare system that's already stressed to the limit. So how do you manage this? And so the topic of this discussion is breakthrough medicines or affordable healthcare. Do we really have to choose? So what we have is a phenomenal panel because of its diversity and because of the individuals that are sitting up here today. The diversity in that we have regulators, we have hospital payers, we have patient groups, we have advocacy, we have all of the different entities that are critical to trying to understand and deal with this emerging issue, which is with all of the new drugs that are coming to the market, with all of the fantastic cures that we have on the horizon, how are we going to be able to afford these drugs? And can we afford them? So before I get started, let me just say the program is offering ACPE, CME, and IACET RN credits. Please see instructions for requesting credit on page 19 of your final program. So get that out of the way. So let me say some opening words before I have the panel introduce themselves. My name is Ken Caton. I'm the director of the Tufts Center for the Study of Drug Development. Some of you may be familiar with our group, or if not, with some of the numbers that we put out. For about 40 years now, we've been doing studies to look at the time, cost, and risk of drug development, and also some of the issues that affect the speed and the efficiency of the R&D process. So one of the most important numbers that we put out is the number on the cost of drug development. We do these studies about once every 10 years, and our last study was published this past November, or was put out last November, and we calculated that it comes to $2.6 billion to bring one successful molecule, new molecular entity, or new biological entity to the marketplace. This figure generates a tremendous amount of attention. It's a fully capitalized cost figure at $2.6 billion, fully capitalized cost, and it includes the cost of failures in drug development. So the issue that often comes up, and there was an editorial in the New England Journal of Medicine just a few weeks ago by Jerry Avorn, who frequently writes on these issues, and he brought up something that is frequently discussed when we come up with our figure, that the industry consistently uses the cost of drug development to justify their high prices. Now, make no mistake about it, and I'm sure for this audience, a sophisticated audience that works, many of you work in the industry or around the industry, know that the cost of drug development is not related to the price of the drug. But on the other hand, it's fair to say that the cost of drug development is a reflection of the cost of bringing future drugs to market. So across a company's portfolio, they have to be able to generate the revenue to sustain their R&D efforts. You can't just have all of your products earning less than the cost of R&D, because ultimately you won't be able to continue to do new innovation and bring new products to market. That said, over the years with patent expirations and the increasing pressure from the marketplace and other factors, we've seen a very dramatic shift in the industry. An industry that in the past focused on large indication drugs, what I call high volume drugs, with perhaps a lower margin that they were acquiring that they were obtaining for those drugs, to what we see today, which is a very low volume but high margin approach to drug development. Every single major company in the United States and abroad is looking at specialty pharma, precision or personalized medicines, orphan drugs, for a variety of reasons. One, we understand more about the pathophysiology and the genetic mechanisms of a lot of disease, which gives us opportunities to look at those drugs and look at those categories. But the other rationale for focusing on this area is it allows for premium pricing, which health plans and payers for up until this time have been generally willing to pay. They've been saying, This treats a small number of patients. Even though the price is very high, we're willing to cover the cost of these drugs. They represent value. We're reaching a point now, especially as all companies are looking in this area, where I would suggest that payers are no longer going to say, carte blanche, we'll cover all of these drugs. More and more, they're going to be putting pressure on the companies to either justify their price or show evidence to demonstrate to a greater degree value. So what we have now is, I think, an increasing public awareness of this issue. The recent discussions over the drug Sovaldi for the hepatitis C, I think, just helped focus a lot of public attention and political attention on this fact. So I mentioned some of the headlines just in the last week. This is from USA Today, and it was 2 days ago. Skyrocketing drug prices leave cures out of reach of some patients. That's in USA Today. You know, the USA Today that everybody sees as they walk through supermarkets and airports and everywhere else. Here's Bloomberg Business. Pharma execs don't know why anyone is upset by a $94,500 miracle cure. In other words, it's the obliviousness, it's the blindness of pharmaceutical executives to the high cost of these drugs and what it's doing to patients. And then finally, in The Economist, again, just recently, just a few weeks ago, pharmaceutical pricing is crippling. All of this to suggest that there's a need for greater reflection and problem solving in this area. Yesterday in the plenary discussion about innovation, when Dan Burris talked about how do we do a better job of innovating, part of innovation is also to ensure that the results of that innovation are going to be accessible to those that are needing it, those that are the point, the reason, the rationale for doing all of this innovation. So we've gathered this wonderful panel together, and